Today we're going to read some Pesach books. We're going to start with this book called A Little Girl Named Miriam, which is a story about Pesach and also the Parsha about baby Moshe. It's the beginning of the story of how he left Mitzrayim. And then we read that on the Haggadah on Pesach. And then Tzvi is going to read a book about the Manashtana called Let's Ask
four questions.
Okay. So A Little Girl Named Miriam by Dina Rosenfeld. Once upon a time in the land of Mitzrayim, there lived a little girl named Miriam who loved babies. She loved their soft, silky hair, their scrunched up faces, and their tiny pink fingers. Whenever new babies are born, Miriam and her mother, Yocheved, always went to help. First, Yocheved would make the babies look beautiful by washing them with warm water and gently smoothing their hair. Then Miriam did her job, holding a wiggly, crying baby close to her. She would make funny noises. Poo, 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 she'd whisper over and over. Poo, poo, poo. Soon the baby would become calm and quiet and fall asleep in Miriam's arms. Miriam was so good at her job that everyone called her Pua, a name that sounded just like the gentle way she talked to babies. One day, Paro, the king of Mitzrayim, called for Miriam and Yocheved. The two of them walked into his palace and stood before his throne. I have decided, Paro said in a loud, big voice, that you must stop taking care of newborn Jewish baby boys. What if one of them will grow up to be stronger than I am? He and all the Jewish people who work for me might leave Mitzrayim. Then who would carry heavy bricks for me and build my cities? I don't want there to be any more Jewish baby boys. That was the meanest thing Miriam had ever heard. Even though Paro was so strong and she was just a little girl, Miriam knew it was time to speak up. That is wicked, she said to Paro. Hashem will never let your plan succeed. Everyone was amazed that little Pua with a soft voice could be so brave. Of course, Miriam and her mother didn't listen to Paro. They continued to take good care of all the babies, girls and boys. But the Jewish people were worried when they heard that Paro didn't want them to be any more baby boys. Miriam's father, Amram, and all the men were talking about what to do. Miriam and her younger brother, Aaron, listened quietly while their father spoke. I know what to do, Amram said. Let's not have any more babies at all. Then Paro won't be angry. No more babies. Everyone looked sad, but they all agreed. Even though the grown-ups were so smart and she was only 6 years old, Miriam knew it was time to speak up. Father, she said, that idea will be even worse than Paro's. Amram looked surprised, but he kept listening. Paro said no more baby boys, but this idea means that there won't be any baby girls either. Everyone is amazed that little Miriam could be so wise. The child is right, said her father. We will continue to bring more babies into the world, and Hashem will help. Miriam smiled. She just knew that her parents would be the ones to have the special baby boy that Paro was so worried about. So Miriam spoke up again. You'll see, she said to her parents. You will have a son that will grow up and lead all the Jews out of Mitzrayim. Yocheved and Aaron were amazed that the little girl could have such important ideas. The whole family waited to see what will happen. One fine Shabbos day in the springtime, Yocheved had a baby, and sure enough, it was a boy. When he was born, the whole house became filled with a bright light that showed him how special he was. Happily, Miriam's father kissed her right on the head. My daughter, he said, your words are coming true. Miriam and Aaron loved their new baby brother, but they could not show him to their friends or take him for a walk. He had to stay hidden in the house so that Paro will not find out about him. Yocheved fed the baby quietly. Miriam made her funny sounds in his ear so he would not cry. After 3 months, they couldn't hide him in the house any longer. What would her mother do? Miriam watched as Yocheved began to make a little basket. She spread clay on the inside and sticky tar on the outside. Then Yocheved laid her precious baby inside the basket, walked down to the river, and placed the basket into the water. It floated safely on the river like a little boat. Would he ever have a chance to lead all the Jews out of Mitzrayim someday? Just then Miriam saw Paro's daughter, the princess of Mitzrayim, coming down to the river with her many helpers. Look, a basket, said Paro's daughter. She stretched out her hand to reach it. When the princess opened the basket, she was surprised to find a baby boy crying inside. "This must be a Jewish child," she said. The princess knew that her father didn't want her to be any Jewish baby boys, but she was very kind and she wanted to take care of the beautiful baby. Miriam watched as Paro's daughter lifted the crying baby out of the basket. It was hard for Miriam to see someone else holding her brother. She wanted to pick him up and cuddle him herself. The princess thought he was hungry, but the baby wouldn't eat or drink or think. It was hard for Miriam to see other people trying to feed her brother. Poor baby, he must really want his own mother to feed him. Suddenly, that little girl named Miriam had a great, wonderful idea. She came close to the princess, who was holding the unhappy baby in her arms. Even though Paro's daughter was so important and might not even listen, Miriam knew it was time to speak up. "Would you like me to go and call a Jewish mother to feed the baby for you?" "Oh, yes," answered the princess. "Please go." And so she did. Filled with happiness, little Miriam ran faster than she'd ever run before. She ran all the way home without stopping and called her very own mother. Yocheved was amazed that little Miriam could be so clever. Together, they went back to the princess. Paro's daughter looked at Yocheved and said, "Take this baby I found, and I will pay you to feed him for me." Yocheved stretched out her arms. She took her baby from the princess and hugged him close. Joyfully, Miriam and her mother brought their little baby home. Once they were taking care of him for the princess, they didn't have to hide him. Now, Miriam and her brother Aaron could show the baby to their friends and take him for a walk. Now their father Amram could hold a special son, and Yocheved could rock him to sleep. Years later, that baby grew up to be Moshe Rabbeinu, who really did lead the Jews out of Mitzrayim, and it all started when little Miriam spoke up. And that's the Pesach story that we read at the Haggadah. Okay.
Let's ask 4 questions.
This is the Manashtana 4 questions.
1. Other night we eat bread, muffins, or rolls. Tonight we eat only matzah. 2. On other nights we eat all kinds of vegetables. Tonight we eat mallow, a bitter vegetable. Always mallow.
Is the marrow? Oh, they're eating marrow in their bowls, I guess.
3. On other nights we don't have to dip our food. Tonight we dip twice. 4. On other nights we eat sitting up still. Straight. Tonight we lean on pillows. Tell me why tonight is different. Tell me the story of Passover.
Once we
were slaves in Egypt, and now we are free.
Thank you, Tzvi. You want to say goodbye?
Bye. Have a good day.